Hey, what's up guys, TechTine here, and this is my smartphone words a year of 2024. Mainly you can call this like the budget edition, since in this channel we mainly focus on phones that for the most part are not on like the high end of scale. So I've reviewed a lot of phones, a lot more phones than you can see here on the table, but these are the options that I found to be the most kind of complete options that you can do like a 2024 smartphone awards on. So one of the first things, or one of the first categories that I'll focus on, is the most improved category. And this goes to, in my opinion, to the 2024 Motorola Moto G Stylus 5G. So the 2024 Moto G Stylus 5G gave me a lot of cool things when it comes to actual upgrades, from a whole new design perspective to other features that I didn't expect that they would add on this phone here. So one of which is wireless charging. You also have an in-display fingerprint. Motorola also decided to put in an AMOLED display. Now, by no means that this is a perfect phone. However, it was definitely worth noting in that this year has been a really improved version before. So this is definitely a way improved version from the 2023 Moto G Stylus 5G. So definitely this is the phone to get if you want somewhat of a complete phone that gives you wireless charging, still costs like around $199 to $249 in today's pricing, and gives you a decent camera, in-display fingerprint, a solid AMOLED display, and a solid overall speaker. Now, next category that I want to speak on is the best value category. When I say best value, I mean that this phone came out to be a phone that cost under 200 bucks, but still brought a lot of cool features that you don't really get to see with phones under $200. And that is the Galaxy A15 here from Samsung. So the Samsung Galaxy A15 I made a lot of videos on, and we did quite extensive reviews on. So the A16 is officially out, but not in the US, so we'll wait for that. Basically, this phone here brought the AMOLED display technology that we've been missing. So the A14 did have like a LCD panel, but Samsung decided to say, hey, whatever, we're just gonna put an AMOLED display on our next Galaxy A15. And that's exactly what they did. So they put an AMOLED display. They gave us a kind of refreshed design. It's a really smooth design. You either like it or hate it, to be honest with you. I'm kind of in the middle. I like the reflective color coding that they have on there. So it gives you kind of different shades of blue depending on the conditions that you're in. And it also gives you this kind of indentation between the power button and the volume up and down. Now, the best thing about this phone is its display. Everything else, unfortunately, it is tough. So the performance on this phone, the camera on this phone is just not it. Even the speaker is a little bit disappointing. So keep that in mind if you're interested in buying this phone. So I do have to give an honorable mention in this category to the Motorola Moto G 5G, which is a $160 phone. Also gave us the same kind of vegan leather material that you see in a lot of Motorola's lineups this time around. However, it did kind of disappoint in one area, which is the display. So instead of Samsung's route where they put an AMOLED display 1080p, Motorola gave us a 720p panel IPS. However, it still is a $160 phone, so keep that in mind. All right, so my next category is kind of the, I would say, the phone that went off the radar, and that is the Samsung Galaxy A25. Now, the reason I say that is because the Galaxy A25 here, while it was a pretty good phone, it improved the performance from the Galaxy A15. It was just at $299 was just not worth it in my opinion. There are a lot of cool options, or better options that you can get that are a little bit less boring than the A25. So it basically shares the same design as the A15 with slight tweaks. So you get these kind of dots here that are supposed to differentiate the design, but it wasn't nothing too outstanding. It just didn't do enough. That's why I feel like this phone kind of went under the radar. Okay, so the bust of the year goes to two phones, but let's start with the runner-up, and I'll give you guys my first place. So the runner-up for bust of the year is the T-Mobile Revel 7 Pro. This was actually a really good phone for the most part. However, the reason I say it's kind of bust of the year, or the runner-up for bust of the year, is because it actually went on a recall. So I don't know the exact reason for the recall. A lot of articles are saying it's like a service issue, but because of the recall, it did go out of the market for like 4 months, which made it a little bit more questionable And me personally, I was never really a fan of the Revel lineup until this phone here. I really enjoyed using this phone. It gave us wireless charging, a lot of storage, a decent camera, a solid display, and it was a really good phone up until that recall. So this is definitely a runner-up for Bust of the Year. Hopefully with its comeback now, I mean, it's back, but it's a little bit too late in my opinion. However though, it's here. It's available for purchase again, but it did go on a recall, so keep that in mind. All right. So the real Bust of the Year though is this thing right here. This shiny bright orange phone, the Celero 5G. And yeah, this thing this is one of those phones that tell you that looks are really deceiving. So it does have a 108 megapixel camera that is not really that good, so the resolution doesn't really matter. The display on here is questionable. A lot of features on this phone are actually questionable. So I was never really a big fan of this big orange phone. I thought I would like it. I thought it would change my mind, but it just had a lot of problems, from glitches to crashes to things like that made it really hard to recommend. So that's Bust of the Year for you. All right. So one of the phones that I want to talk about is the Motorola Razr 2024 edition. So this thing here is actually a really solid pickup if you're in the market for a flip device. I don't have the real unit with me, but this is definitely a solid pickup if you're in the market for a flip device while you don't want to spend like $1,000 or $1,000 plus. So this here goes for around $499 now. A lot of carriers actually put it out on deals, as I read in my comments. So carriers actually put it for like $100, $199. So it was really good value for what you'd be getting for this phone. So this is definitely a worth mentioning device. Here's my phone of the year, and this actually may be controversial, and that is the 2024 Moto Edge. So this is the MVP budget phone of the year, and it's so freaking underrated. First of all, this phone cost $299 MSRP, so you can get it unlocked for $299. It provides 256 gigabyte storage, a solid camera setup, a solid display, a solid design, and a compact kind of phone in a large display. So if you look at it, it actually has a similar footprint to something like the Galaxy A15. It's actually a little bit lighter than the A15 because of these curved edges. And the curved design, you either like it or hate it, to be honest with you. But this phone brought a lot of cool features, and in my opinion, it represents what a good phone should be for $299. Now, the edges are, like I said, controversial. I mean, you either like them or hate them. I happen to got used to them. I'm not the biggest fan still, but I did get used to them, so keep that in mind. And this is definitely a phone that I would not mind carrying for a year or two. It's definitely a solid phone, and also give us a extra button that you can customize to your liking. And you know, you have somewhat of a premium phone when you don't have a headphone jack. It has 15 watt of wireless charging, a really fast wire charging, standard 256 gigabyte storage, solid camera setup, extremely nice display, and yeah, overall a very complete phone for $299. And from all the phones that I've reviewed this year, this is definitely my go-to pick. So with that being said, I want to thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a thumbs up. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and I will definitely catch you guys in the next one. Thank you all for watching.